Watch us on the rerun. Today is the 17th of January, and this is William Wagner's For We the People State of the Union message. With that said, and my white hat in place, I want to take you now to Anthony Williams in Honolulu. All you see is an image of him when he was on my show 5 years ago. Last 3 years, he's been sitting in prison for a false conviction, he claims, in Florida, where he was not allowed to confront his accuser, Detective John whatever. Now, he's facing another kangaroo trial in Honolulu, so he can't spend his time appealing his wrongful conviction in Florida. Here's the interview we taped this morning, the 17th of January.
Did Rosie send you the little outline I did to show how the judges and the prosecutors here are getting their mortgages satisfied in like 1 month, 2 months,
Oh,
to
yeah.
a year?
Right.
Yeah, you got all of that?
Right. And also, Prosecutor Sorensen had some very interesting, quickly paid off loans, and I put that on my local television show.
Right.
And asked Mr. Sorensen if he would come on my show and explain how he gets his loans paid off so quickly. He has not responded to me yet. I might have to send him a certified letter.
Send him a certified letter, and in that way to give him an opportunity to explain this. Because that's what I told him. I said, listen, because the judge, she issued an order, cautioning me about, putting their public information, out there. I said, first of all, you can't caution me about expressing what public information I can disseminate to the people. I said, that's what it is. It's already public information. What are you talking about? It's not private. It's public already.
Right. Which judge said that to you?
Kobayashi.
Do you think she's she's senile or just corrupt?
She's both.
Oh, God.
She's both.
Oh, God. God have mercy on us.
Yeah, but see, this is what makes it so crazy, because she was a judge that was the judge in.
This call is from a federal prison.
She was a judge in several of my clients' foreclosure cases, and I showed her the documentation. I sent the documentation. I filed a motion showing the fraud that was committed by the mortgage company against one of my clients that they have as one of my victims on the indictment, and I showed her the robo-signer, showed her that the assignment of mortgage was fraudulent. I even sent her the link to the 60 Minutes show, CBS, that showed these same robo-signers that 60 Minutes exposed was the same ones that was on my client's document, the same one. And she still disregarded it and dismissed the lawsuit that me and my client filed against Douche Bank.
Do you think she would be Do you think she'd be a prime candidate to be impeached under a Trump administration?
Definitely. She'd definitely be. Her and all of her little matchstick cohort. Kenneth Mansfield, Wes Weaver Porter, all of them. The only judge here that actually, to me, in my experience, and me standing before him in his courtroom, that actually cared about protecting my constitutional rights was Judge Richard Puglisi. He was the only one.
Richard who?
Puglisi.
Interesting.
And he's retired now.
Yeah, isn't that convenient? So, if I understand you, Judge Kobayashi, senile and crooked, is going to allow you to call 60 witnesses, and the prosecutors, to this point, is only identified 2 FBI agents they're going to call.
Right.
Are any of these either one of these 2 FBI agents from San Diego, where I exposed the McCulty Holtis forgery ring, committing forgery to create false documents to foreclose on people, and the FBI there knows it. They know who my Poly 1 witness is that I did not identify for own protection, and still have made no arrests. Or either one of these FBI agents from San Diego or ever been posted there, to your knowledge?
No, I doubt if them the ones that I think the ones they're calling are from here. And I think, I think both of them are actually retired FBI agents that are supposed to be experts on the mortgage industry.
Well, if you get to cross-examine, then you might want to ask them if they've ever been posted in the FBI office in San Diego, where I already proved last April 25th and got their faces on that on tape, and that's on YouTube for anybody to see. Ask them if they've ever been
Okay.
part of that FBI agent, because that's already, to me, that's a corrupt FBI office. They're not arresting people even after retired police
Right.
officer Jack Sooty went and did a separate video, separate from mine at a different date, identified Polly 1 and had her swear under oath, and he gave it to the FBI, and they still have not made a single arrest to my knowledge. So you might just
Right.
want to throw that in there so the jury hears it.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, they don't like going after these bar members. It's like they protecting these crooked bar members. It's
Absolutely.
like you're part of the bar. Okay, then you can commit all the crimes in the world with impunity.
yeah, because they're pledged to play the bar card game and make sure their little racket is well protected.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
I get it.
Exactly.
So,
They're doing.
how many days do you think you'll spend in Verdure?
I don't know, cause I'm expecting that they're not going to have any African American jurors, any Hispanics. Because that's usually what they do. Like if there are any, they always exclude them, just preemptory strike with no cause. Which is it's actually against the Supreme Court Baskey versus Kentucky. Says you just can't exclude certain jurors of a race if they're of the same race as a defendant, and that's what they did to me in both of my trials in Florida.
Well, that's what they did to Michael Jackson here in Santa Maria in 2005.
Right.
That's
what they did.
They had a couple of black people in the jury pool, and they never even got close to being on the jury.
Right.
Never even got close. And I think there was maybe one Hispanic made it on the jury. And the key jury was that elderly white woman who used to be a secretary for a judge, and she was the one that was bribed to find Michael guilty no matter what the evidence. That was done. That'll come out when my book comes out, and people will be shocked. But
that's what they do. That's what they do. I'm telling you that. That's why I was telling you in one of my last trial where one of the Caucasian ladies, she told the bailiff, I don't like what they're doing. I don't like what they're doing to this man. I don't like what I see. I don't want to be on this jury. Because she saw them not allow me to put in evidence that was directly relevant. Then she saw him trying to stop me from asking certain relevant questions. So she's like, I want off this jury. And so he basically brought her out and like, look, asked her some few questions. She's like, I just don't like what I see. I don't want on. And so I asked him to ask her, did anyone threaten you? And then you could tell she was visibly shaking. And then she kind of hesitated and kind of looked around the court to see who was in there and put her head down. And then was like, no. He said, so, and he leaned over like, so you're okay to stay on the jury, right? And she's like, well, I guess I can stay on. He said, okay, go back to the jury room. And they found me guilty at 45 minutes.
oh, she was already on the jury and she wanted off.
Yeah, she was already on the jury. She wanted off.
What was her
But
name?
she saw what they were doing. Her name was Patricia Katz, Katz. Patricia Katz.
And she was from
Florida.
The Fort Lauderdale area?
Yes. Yep. And I was like, clearly, I said, look, clearly somebody that said something to this woman, and she don't like what she, So it's clearly somebody that threatened this woman. They probably threatened the rest of the jurors, because there's no way you can go through all those documents that were submitted and come up with a verdict in 45 minutes.
That's one of the reasons you're confident if you can beat this case in Honolulu and get back to Florida, you can win on appeal.
Yeah, and not only that, I feel like I can win on appeal easy, but I feel like I can win at trial if the jurors aren't threatened, if it's not a rigged jury. Yeah. Because my last Florida case, they didn't let me call any witnesses. The clerk intentionally didn't send out any subpoenas to the witnesses I had. So I didn't have no witnesses at my trial.
Do you have any knowledge that the clerk there in Honolulu has sent out the subpoenas to your 60 witnesses?
Yeah, I got confirmation of all the subpoenas being served by the U.S. Marshals. We got that confirmation already.
Let me diverge just quickly. Do you know if there was a court videotape of your trial in Florida?
Yeah, it is. You can call Channel 7 News from Miami. They recorded the whole trial. So if you can get that footage, that would be great.
I'll make the call. Channel 7, Miami. They
Yeah,
taped it, but
WSBM.
does the,
Yeah. They recorded it.
the whole thing?
The whole thing.
How do you know that?
Because they was there the whole time.
Well, that
They was
doesn't.
recording the whole time.
Well, it doesn't mean they recorded it.
No, they was recording. The only time he told them to turn it off, but they couldn't be in there when he sent the jury out. Then he would send them out, and then once the jury back in, he let them back in, and they could start back recording. They recorded the whole thing. That's why you see like they had little certain excerpts that they put of the trial on TV. They just like edited and put certain parts, but they didn't put the main parts where it shows how the judge is arguing with me, and then he's saying stuff that I'm saying is not true, which he knew was true, and he lied on the record saying, no, that's not. I'm like, it is true. This man to try to charge me with all kind of these false charges.
This call is from a federal prison.
That this Detective John Calabo kept trying to find something to charge me with, and I kept getting them dismissed because they were bogus.
Interesting.
And then he didn't even get on the stand. The prosecution didn't call him to the witness stand because the standby attorney that I had sent her the questions so she could type them to ask him on the stand. So she obviously gave it to the prosecution. They was like, oh no, we can't put him on the stand. If he's gonna ask these questions, he's gonna eat him up on the stand. So they didn't even put the one person that charged me with this crime. The detective. He didn't even get on the stand.
What detective was that?
John Calabro from Broward County Sheriff's Department.
What date? What was the date of your trial in Florida?
It was like June the 19th through the 23rd.
June 19th.
No, 2017.
2017.
June 19th to June 19th to June 23rd, 2017.
Okay. Anything you want to get in real quick here?
Yeah, I just want everybody to just keep an eye on this trial because there's a lot of corruption, a lot of things that I'm gonna bring out at this trial, a lot.
Okay, good.
It's gonna be epic.
Off by the prison, of course, because he had used up his time. If you didn't understand what you were seeing a man speaking from prison in Honolulu, federal prison, where he's on trial for trying to prevent homelessness in Hawaii by stopping the banks or attorneys and people claiming to represent the note holder. And in virtually all cases, the note has been destroyed, shredded, within 90 to 100 days after it was signed by you or the homeowner. When they shredded that note, right before they shredded it, they made a scanned copy and keep it in electronic files so MERS can do whatever they want to do with it, and you don't really know who's holding your note. So they shred the original note. Another reason they shred it is they sell the scanned copies to Wall Street, and they get cashed like within a half a year or less. They're cashed by foreign investors, most of whose names you will never have any chance to know. And the Federal Reserve Discount Bank, I know this sounds insane, but this is what happens. How do I know? I have it because I interviewed somebody who worked at the discount bank. If they get 5 copies come in on the same day, on the same note for the same property, they pay off in full for each one. No questions asked. This is intrinsic fraud and corruption that even President Trump hasn't figured out how to stop yet. I'm not sure he even knows about it fully. Though he's dealt with a lot of banks, that's how he became a billionaire, beating the bankers and the crooks at their own game. But I don't think Trump fully has a grasp on how horrific the crime against American people is.